What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mountain Motorsports in Roswell. I am Chaseontwowheels, and in front of me I have a 2023 Triumph Tiger 1200 GT Explorer. This is our first ride of 2023. I am excited to be here, and I cannot wait to ride this glorious machine on this shitty day. Let's get the first ride started. So guys, the Tiger 1200 is Triumph's big deal adventure bike. We have the road going version here, as you guys can see with the wheels. They do make this in a more off-road focused thing. It is going to be awesome. As you can tell, the weather is not great today, but between this big old windscreen, this heated seat, these heated grips, and this new waterproof REV'IT gear I think I'm still gonna have an awesome time. If you're new, welcome to First Rides, where I review motorcycles for the first time here on video. So let's see what it looks like, and let's see what it sounds like. Alright guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like, and this video is not sponsored, but it is supported by our membership website, wbrgarage.com, where we, as of this video coming out, are about to reveal Season 6 motorcycle. That's our website where we build motorcycles into dream bikes and we give them away to guys just like you. Go check it out, it'll be top link in the description. Let me get these awesome freaking gloves on. I am so excited about these gloves. Dude, they're battery operated. You guys can't even see the battery. It's there. Here, I'll show you. I am going to take full use of these new REV'IT gloves because they're awesome. All right, battery is on. Power is on. All right, boys, we are not going to be cold and wet today. Screw you, weather. I mean, please don't rain. Like rain, but like if you do, I'll be okay. Just want to personally thank REV'IT for sending all this gear out for me to do first rides in gross weather in. My comfort appreciates it. All right, guys, let's don up on this thing. I got to get on it adventure bike style. Oh snap. I almost forgot one of the main sponsors of first rides, which is Quad Lock. We love them. We have them on every bike. Alright guys, we have keyless entry on the Tiger 1200, so let's get this thing turned on. By the way, watch this. They put Chase when I went to pick this bike up. They put my rider name in as Chase. You gotta appreciate the small stuff, and I did forget to check the tire, or change the tire pressures. That's my bad. They're not that far off. I'm not too worried about it. All right, guys, let's talk about seat height real quick. I'm 5'10". I got a 32-inch inseam, and I've got my big Icon boots on. I can just, and I mean just, flat foot this motorcycle. So it is a bit taller, but I gotta say it holds its weight really well. Also, as a note, we have an adjustable windscreen, but will not be adjusting that. Modes wise, we've got it in rain mode. We're going to keep it in rain mode for this ride because it is raining. We might go into road mode, but we're not going to be taking all the rider aids off. GoPro is going. First ride of the year, baby. Let's get it going. I am excited. And guys, before we get onto the road, make sure to check out our Discord if you're a Discord style person. We have a motorcycle Discord that is full of motorcycle riders just like you, so something to check out. And let's get it going. In rain mode it does that? Oh, I love this. Oh, this is so good. I can't eat, like, I am so ready to take on the elements in this motorcycle. It's so good. If you're not familiar with the Tiger style of Triumphs, Tigers are their adventure line, and this is their 1200 Tiger. This thing has got some stiff competition inside of the legendary BMW RS 1250 GS. It is, that's stiff competition, so today we will find out how well this bike does on a road course. So guys, first off, let's talk about body position. I am sitting on what quite possibly could be the most comfortable motorcycle seat I have ever sat on. I've ridden a lot of motorcycles, and I can easily say this is the most comfortable one ever. It's very soft, and I rode this bike from Atlanta to the shop to when we picked the bike up. It was so comfortable. Talking about body position, my upper body is very upright. My legs are kind of in a, not a seated position, but a slightly seated position. And my arms are kind of up some. They're a little higher than I kind of expected them to be. And the only weirdness about this body position is my arms being so high. The reasoning my arms are so high is because, like I said, this is an adventure motorcycle. They do have a off-road version. And when you're riding off-road, you are needing to stand up a lot. And when I stand up, my arms are in a phenomenal placement on this bike. So I understand why they are where they are, but when I'm sitting, they are up a little higher. I find for long distances, my arms get a little tired, so they start just shrugging like that. I'm not sure if you can tell that in the GoPro. So I understand why the handlebars are so high. Don't have an overall problem because I understand why they're there. So guys, typically at that red light back there, I talk about modes. This bike has 5 rider modes. It has rain, road, I think they call it sport, and then there's an off-road mode and a user-defined mode. I love having the user-defined mode so you can customize it if you own the bike. That's awesome. So far, rain mode has been phenomenal, and I'm going to be switching out of rain mode here in a minute because it's not technically raining, and I'd like to feel this bike. Changing modes on this bike is super simple. Triumph is probably my #2 favorite controls of a motorcycle. So we just hit that mode button, we scroll up, so we've got sport and road. We're going to go into road. It gives you all the information on what is changing in road mode, which is really cool. One of the awesome things that we'll talk about later is the suspension on this bike. It is semi-active, so the suspension is changing in those different modes, which is awesome. I am not smart enough to understand suspension, so for the bike doing it for me, we love it. And by we, I mean me. You know guys, for a bike that I think weighs 526 pounds, I gotta say maneuvering this thing around the city has been effortless. They have magically made this weight disappear, and with such a wide turning radius and you know how far the bars can lock, I feel like I have ultimate maneuverability with this motorcycle. We did a little short form video of me just doing little U-turns. I was shocked at how much I could turn this bike and how confident I felt just doing a really tight U-turn. I love the maneuverability that Triumph has given this Tiger. I don't know if that was, you know, more focused towards the off-road, you know, market for who's going to buy this bike, but even for me, an on-road person, I just find it phenomenal how maneuverable a big bike like this can be in the city. And obviously it's got that 1200cc, well, I think it's like 1160 cc T-plane that has so much power, but I'm having no problem controlling that much power here on the street. Speaking of power, I believe the horsepower is at 147 with torque at 95. So we are talking pretty massive power numbers. You know, typically when we have numbers that high, the first thing I'm wondering as a rider is like, how controllable is that though? Because like, what does 150 horsepower matter if I can't control it? So far, I've had no problem with the rider aids being really like obtrusive to me. Granted, I've only ridden this on the street, so just, you know, keep that in mind. This is a street review. I'm trying to convince Triumph to give me one of these later in the year that's set up for off-road, so, you know, liking this video could help. All right, let's lean her over and get her going. Big bikes like this accelerating quickly, there's something about it that is just hilarious. I think being on a bike like this, you don't expect to have the maneuverability that this bike has. So when you twist that throttle and this thing just gets going, it just makes you laugh. It makes me laugh. I love this thing. I would not have put this thing in the category of bikes that I would have thought are really good on the street. Even if I lean the bike over, like 526 pounds ain't light. Leaning it over is not a problem. I can just throw it back and forth. It's a big old bike. Now, it's not light, you know, like, don't expect to just throw this thing around, but I just feel like the weight is manageable. There's something happening with me where I'm really starting to dig the the heavier bikes. I don't know what it is. Don't know if it's an age thing or what, but kind of like it. Anybody gonna kill me? No, they're not. I will say in city areas, the first gear is a little short. I find myself clicking into second before I even get through intersections. Now, I don't have to. I could rev the bike out more. There's something innate that makes me want to shift the gears before I really start revving it out. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if I like that or not. So yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'd like that short first gear, because for one, it makes me get to shift the motorcycle, which typically that's one of the things I complain about with the bigger bikes, is the bigger the bike is. That's an awesome blue on a Tesla. Pulling into a gas station, that's hilarious. One of the things I'm kind of not a huge fan of bigger bikes is the lack of engagement. And what I mean by that is, like, when you're in the city and you've got these bikes with a really tall first gear, you don't really get to shift the bike a lot, and by that, you don't really ride the motorcycle. You're just kind of doing your thing. But with a short first gear, you kind of get to shift the bike around, even if, like right here, I'm going 43 in the city and I'm going in third gear, which is kind of weird. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments if you're, like, do you care about that? I just find it interesting. And to give this bike every chance that I can, I will be putting it into sport mode, because we're coming up to the highway, and on the highway, we do a highway entrance, a 40 to 80 pull, some would say. And I want this motorcycle to have the best chance to do the best it can. All right, boys. This is a 2023 Triumph Tiger 1200 GT Explorer. This is a highway entrance. We are going to see what it does in the 40 to 80 pull. The highway, also a place where this bike should be absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's get to 40 and let's get the cars ahead of us to chill. All right, boys, 40 to 80. Are you ready? I hope so, because I am. On your mark, get set, go. And all the way through second, my absolute favorite. I love when a bike just rockets through a gear to go to 40 to 80 pull. It's my favorite. Good job, Triumph. I like your second gear. Alrighty, guys, we are on the proving ground for the Tiger 1200 here, the highway. This is where this bike should be at home. A fish in water, a bird in air. And I'm going 90 miles an hour. Dang it, I gotta stop. Alright, guys, first off, wind. I am oddly getting a little bit of wind here on my chest. My head's getting no wind, but I can feel the wind going on my arm. But as far as my body goes, I'm not really getting too much wind, which is good. You don't want to be getting a lot of wind here on the highway, because that's going to fatigue you. Now, as far as power, I don't think I really need to touch on this, but this bike, I'm in 6th gear going 90 at 5,000 RPMs. I redline at 9.5. I've got plenty of power to do plenty of stupid things. Let's talk about something important, and that's comfort. I am chilling right here, and if I want to be even more chilling, I can activate the cruise control, and boy, I am good. I was doing this on the way home. Sitting on the passenger seat with cruise control on, it makes your legs be able to stretch out. Never have I ridden a motorcycle before that I'm like, dude, I legit want to try to do a iron butt video on this bike. It just makes you, with all the comfort features it has, I'm like, bro, I can totally do that. Speaking of comfort features, I do have the heated grips. I do have the heated seat. As a note, the heated seat option on this bike gets so hot, you will probably have to put it from 2 to mode 1. And that was on a day where it was 35 degrees. Obviously today we got 58. As far as temperature goes, today's a freaking glorious day. But the day I rode this bike back to the shop, it was 35 degrees and the heated seat got so hot, I had to turn it to mode 1, which is hilarious. Also, a crazy feature this bike has, and the first bike I've ever seen with this feature, watch this little light. That light is letting me know that there is a person in my blind spot and to not turn in that direction. How freaking cool is that? Never seen that before, but again, an amazing feature for here on the highway. You guys are gonna have to let me know, would you want to see us test this bike in a iron butt video? I want to make it, but if you guys don't want to see it, we won't worry about it. I just think this might be the best bike ever to do that video on. A 15 out of 10 for highway use on this bike. We're gonna get her shifted down some. We're gonna send her through the big turn. Again, I don't understand what Triumph did to make a bike this big feel so effortless to throw back and forth. And also, you guys might notice in this turn, yes, there are lights on the headlight that are lighting up as I lean the bike over. It does have corner lighting. So when the IMU on the motorcycle senses that the bike is being leaned over and moving forward, the bike will actually light up a corner. So if you're, riding, I don't know, in the mountains late at night, the bike will actually light the corner up that you're going into. I love that. We've seen that on a couple bikes here and there. It's a feature that I love seeing. All right, guys, before we keep going on to the next section, let's talk about our sponsor, Cardo, in our Cardo spot and see what our peeps in the camera car think of the Triumph Tiger 1200 GT Explorer.
Today, guys, we're filming the 2023 Triumph Tiger Explorer GT. My favorite thing is that big windshield. Not only does it add to the looks, it also is extremely functional, keeping that wind off of you.
Yeah, and it has heated seat and grips on the handles, so cold outside, so I'm sure that's comfy cozy.
All right, camera car peeps, including my beautiful wife, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Cardo, for sponsoring the first ride season. Guys, if you want to get a Bluetooth unit, there is no better unit than a Cardo. I use them. I love them. That's why we have them here on this channel. If you want to get one, you can get a discount with the link in the description. That link does help support the channel, so make sure to go check that out. Thank you guys so much for clicking on the link, and thank you, Cardo, for sponsoring the show. All right, guys, let's talk about some power. Power-wise, this bike, it gives me that, it's that T-plane from Triumph. It gives me a really good, Torquey, meaty power. I absolutely love the power that comes out of this, and it doesn't feel like it ever stops. Honestly, on the highway, you guys saw, we were just absolutely chilling. Now, let's talk about the gearing. Like I said, the gearing is a little shorter than I think a few of you guys probably expect on a bike like this, but if you're gonna ask me, it adds to the excitement and the fun factor of riding this motorcycle. I don't think I would change it. I honestly enjoy it a lot, and I get to feel engaged with the motorcycle. As far as shifting into gears, There's been a couple times where when I shifted, I didn't get the, I didn't go into the right gear. It kind of like did a ghost gear type thing. There is some weirdness there, and I do notice that the quick shifter kills power a little more than I wish it did. When I'm giving it serious throttle and I'm quick shifting up, I've noticed the power cutting in between gears. I wish it was a little faster. I understand it cutting the power, but maybe not so long. As far as the suspension has been beautiful. I have loved every bit of suspension I have felt on this bike. I feel like comfortable the entire time. I feel maneuverable when I need to feel maneuverable. It's just been an overall awesome experience. And the brakes. We need to talk about the brakes. We've got Brembo monoblocks up front, and this is one of those motorcycles where if you guys are going to go ride this bike, I implore you, be careful with the brakes. Triumph notoriously on their good models puts massive brakes on here. And I remember when I was taking this from the Triumph headquarters to the shop, somebody cut in front of me and I had to brake. And I had never braked on the bike before in a situation like that. I laid on the brakes, and my guy, this bike came to a damn near stop on the highway. They are so strong. They're so strong, I don't even want to show you here on the streets because I'm terrified of them. Needless to say, the braking on this bike is a 10 out of 10. It does not get better, and this is a big bike. So like, I don't know what those brakes are made out of, but they are good. They are very strong. You guys that are looking to grab one of these, be careful. Be careful when you check that out. Alrighty, ladies and gents, let's talk about the dash and the controls. First off, this is a almost $24,000 motorcycle, and everything feels like it. You guys know Triumph doesn't mess around with their quality. The controls are absolutely butter. We've got our clutch lever up here with it, and it's adjustable. We've got our brake lever here. It is also adjustable. The feelings while you're actuating the buttons, the levers, the controls, the grips, everything feels like top tier level stuff. It's a pro, but it's also like, yeah, it should be. So Triumph's right on par with that. I get a really good feeling with all the buttons I use, and as you can see, we've got a lot of buttons here. I will say I think Triumph is probably one of the leaders in buttons because they organize their buttons extremely well. They use a little joystick situation down here to go through the settings. I think Triumph is like top tier when it comes to buttons and how to use the user interface of the motorcycle. So I love to see that. As far as this giant, and I mean giant TFT dash, look in front of that. I think I really like the screens that Triumph's been using on their nicer motorcycles. I tell Bo all the time, who has a Tiger 900, I'm like, dude, I love the view of your cockpit, and it's the same here. It's very bright, it's very colorful. You guys know it. I'm sold on that. But the thing that makes it even easier is the joystick in combination with that. It's very simple to use, which you guys know I've said it before in many other first rides. If you have a lot of awesome stuff that your bike can do, but it's hard to use it, it's almost pointless because you're not going to use it if it's convoluted. I think the settings on this bike are very easy to use and understand. I've said multiple times, Ducati is probably the leader in dashes. Triumph's number 2. I just prefer the look of the Ducati stuff, but as far as usability, they're almost identical. The only thing Ducati does better than Triumph in their dash is that in their power modes, they show an actual icon of a motorcycle, and if you're changing the power, it highlights the engine. If you're changing the front suspension, it shows the front suspension, which is really neat. Yeah, everything's awesome here, guys. I have no issues. I know this is not a cheap motorcycle, but when you ride this thing and you see what it feels like, you hear 24 grand and you're like, yeah, okay, I can see where that money goes. Grips are a great size. I love the heated grips. It's just a little tiny button on the grips. That's pretty cool. So guys, that's been a lot. Let's pull off up here. Let's do a little walk around of the bike because I'm kind of split on how I feel it looks, and I'll explain that here in a second. I'm shocked how well I can feel these controls in these gloves. I've never had like a pair of waterproof winter gloves that I could feel so many controls with. That's been absolutely phenomenal. I like how I've been keeping it in sport mode. I didn't even put it back in raid mode. Ballsy move, Cotton. Oh, no. For the first time ever, and it's the first ride of 2023, my spot is taken. Oh no. Oh goodness. That's all right. We'll park here in this empty group. Shame. Shame on that person. That's funny. I don't care. It's not a big deal. Alrighty, guys. Let's get the kickstand down, and let's get off adventure bike style. That is the 2023 Triumph Tiger 1200 GT Explorer. Explorer specifically is the model with the extended gas tank. This gas tank is almost 8 gallons. You can go forever. I really want to do an iron, but that's another one of those reasons. As you guys can see, we have the center stand. Really cool. Love that for an adventure bike. We also, interestingly, have a shaft-driven motorcycle. So instead of having a regular chain, you've got this shaft that's going to drive the rear wheel. Everything is internal, so that way it's going to be less maintenance long-term. This is your rear shock reservoir. I believe the suspension travel in the front and rear is somewhere over 7 inches. We love that. We've got a skid plate at the bottom in case stuff hits. I do wish for 24 grand we had some sort of protection here. I need to look into it. Hopefully the off-road model has some sort of guard there. These are those big Brembos up front. Come stock with fog lights as well, which is pretty freaking awesome. There's something about the exhaust on this bike that I actually I like the exhaust. It's super thin. It's super low key, but I really like it. I don't know why. So let's get that front quarter shot. So that's the bike, guys. So here's the weirdness with this bike. Some angles I really like the look, and then there's other angles that I'm not sold on. I don't know what it is. I've looked at this bike a ton. I've taken photos of this bike. I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know what it is. It's kind of strange. Also, something interesting that Bo brought up. Bo is the guy that edits all the videos. There is a radiator here and a radiator here. So it's got a split radiator. But he brought up the fact that it's on the side. And for a motorcycle that is going to be ridden off-road, or at least the off-road version, you would think that people would be worried that the radiator would get hit and then the bike would overheat if you fell over onto a rock or something. Just something we kind of noticed. I'm not really sure what the thought process is with that, so we'll have to see. I do love the fact that it does have crash protection up here as standard. That's awesome. And we got the handguards. These are plastic, so they are probably going to break off really quickly if you take it down, but we love the fact that they're there. As far as riding on the highway, that's going to block a lot of wind on your hands, so if it's raining or if it's super cold, those are a godsend. So yeah, guys, that is the 2023 Tiger, a little walk around. I'm going to grab my phone off the quad lock, and I'm going to shoot some vertical video for our TikTok and Instagram. Shout out to Quad Lock. We've got a discount code for Quad Lock in the description as well. You guys can save a ton of freaking cash if you go with the description. If you guys aren't following us on Instagram, we are at CetoPics. If you're on TikTok, we are at Chaseontwowheels. I'm going to film some video real quick, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, mission accomplished. Alright, so guys, now the question is, we've done the whole first ride. Now I feel a little better prepared to decide who I feel like this bike's for. Like, who's the ideal guy? Let's do our turnaround test, which is going to be slightly skewed this time. But we'll figure it out. Alrighty. I was about halfway in that lane. We'll just keep that as a note. That's pretty freaking phenomenal, because typically I'd be like way over there. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 for the turnaround test. I've got 121 miles of range, and I am less than half a tank. That's hilarious. Alrighty guys, let's talk about who I feel like this bike is for, and to do that, I have to acknowledge some sort of feeling that this bike gives me that I feel like is pretty unique. Like I said, this is in Triumph's adventure class, and this bike should be made to take you out and do adventures on, especially the GT Explorer with this extended tank, you know, the 7.91 gallon, like literally almost 8-gallon gas tank. With a bike like that, it kind of leads you to want to take on these big adventures. There is something about the fact that I knew it was nasty weather out today, but timing wise, I've got to get this first ride filmed, and there is something strange about this bike, and I almost got more excited knowing that the weather was bad than I would have if the weather was great. So there's something weird about this bike that it makes me want to just like take on whatever the world's gonna throw at me, which for an adventure bike, I don't know if there's any better stat that you need to worry about than, is this bike something that gets you excited to go out and deal with whatever happens? When you're out riding, like, it's great to have great weather, but inevitably you're gonna come across something gross. And if you're on a really big journey, I feel like having a bike that makes you want to take it on is probably the best thing you can possibly have. Now, saying that and keeping in mind all of the other awesome rider aids that has, the cruise control, the heated grips, the like literally I would run out of time if I sat here and like named off everything. I feel like the ideal person for this motorcycle is somebody that can afford a $24,000 bike, but you have to want to do big adventures. This bike can literally do everything. So the limiting factor to this motorcycle is what you're willing to do on it. And I just love this bike as a big adventure bike that you go and you take on these big adventures in. The gas tank is phenomenal. As far as the distance you can cover on it, you're not going to be stuck at gas stations all the time. And with that rear seat on the highway, if you were going to do massive highway miles, bro, you can stretch out and sit on the back seat when you got cruise control on. I don't know. I want to put some serious miles. I want to do like across the country style stuff on this bike. That's what it like inspires me to do, and because of that, that's what I feel like the ideal client is. Somebody that wants to do huge trips in absolute comfort. This is going to be the bike that is going to be phenomenal for you. But guys, that's the end of our first ride. That's all I've got. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more motorcycle content, and shout out to Triumph for loaning us the motorcycle. We're going to have this until the end of February, so if there are any specific videos you guys want us to make on this bike, let us know. If we can't make a full video, I'll try to make a YouTube short on it for you guys. Just let us know what you want to know in the comments down below. I'm Chaseontwowheels. This has been a first ride on the 2023 Triumph Tiger 1200 GT Explorer. Quite possibly the best touring motorcycle I have ever ridden. You guys ride safe out there. I'll see you on the next one. Outro crew, thank you for getting to the end of the video. Put OC in your comment, like this video, and let me know, is there a better touring motorcycle on the market right now? Because I don't know if there is. Thank you guys for watching and get to the end of the video. Love you guys a little bit longer, and I'll see you on the next one. Make sure to go check out another first ride on the screen right now. Love you guys a little bit longer. Later.